My new film, A Tale of Two Syrias, I shot in Syria in 2010, so it was before the uprising started. I spent a year filming there, and I filmed with two different people, so I was kind of trying to show the life of people living under a Syrian dictatorship. So Botrous is a monk at a monastery in Syria. It's in the middle of the desert, and I'd actually filmed with him almost 10 years ago for my first film. So I already had quite a good rapport with him, and I wanted to go back and film with him and his community because I found what they did really interesting, and I felt like, you know, since my first film, I kind of had more experience to do something a little bit more complex. And he's really, really easy to film and really just ignores me, you know, when I was there, so it was really easy to film with him. And Salem was great to film as well. He just loved having me around and filming. And I met him that year. I was looking to film the story of an Iraqi refugee because there was, since the start of the invasion of Iraq until 2010, there had been up to 1 million people coming through Syria, Iraqi refugees, and it was such a big presence and situation that I wanted to find a personal, individual story to reflect that. So when I met him, we actually just really got on as friends and then ended up filming with him. Sam's great. He's a fashion designer. He used to do that when he was in Iraq, and I found that really interesting to film his situation in Syria because life had become quite difficult for him. It was hard for him to practice his love of fashion, and he didn't have full rights as a citizen there. Life got quite difficult for him throughout the year I was filming, so I kind of wanted to reflect that, but also that he still had his passion for art and for creativity and contrast those. Botrous is great. His community is really interesting. They were involved in a lot of interfaith dialogue with Islam, Christianity, and other situations. And I was just really inspired by him and his community's work and just wanted to reflect that. Basically, when I was filming, it was not clear that an uprising would happen in Syria. It just seemed completely, it didn't even cross anybody's mind. Even when the uprisings in Tunis started and then in Egypt, it still seemed completely impossible that it would happen in Syria for various reasons. So definitely when I was filming, it's nothing that ever crossed my mind or basically anybody else's. But saying that, and this isn't the reason why the uprising started, but you know, throughout the year I did keep hearing of different things that were stopped or limited or restricted. You know, people's activities were getting harder. So there was an atmosphere of restriction. But I can't say or have thought then that this was the reason this starts, you know, the uprising eventually started. But I guess the general atmosphere of just more and more restrictions was a reality that affected people. This is the first screening for A Tale of Two Syrias, so it's the first time both Botrous and Salem will be seen by a general public. And I'm very excited to be able to share that because I think they're both quite unique and give us a perspective on Syria, which today is quite difficult to see or hear about because the situation there has changed so much.